Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. We're back at Belmont Park with the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, June the 3rd. Graded stakes action at beautiful Belmont. Race number 9 is the Grade 3 Beaugay, going 1 1/16 on the inner turf for fillies and mares. Before we get to the analysis, let me remind you to please try those DRF mobile pass performances. Experience classic PPs with mobile interactive access anywhere, anytime on your phone. Exclusive lifetime buyer speed figure graphs and more. DRF.com/MPPS is where you go for all of the details. Let's meet the field for the Grade 3 Beaugay. You can download free formulator pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them. Handicap along with us. Mike, 2 big names in this race, both multiple Grade 1 stakes winners. The one Rushing Fall, the 3 Got Stormy.
Yeah, they're 2 very good mares in this race, Dan, and they're both, listen, they sort of tower over their competition here. Got Stormy's advantage is recency, but Rushing Fall's advantage might be the distance of this race and the projected pace.
Both of those horses have tactical speed. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Rushing Fall expected to take advantage from the inside post. Got Stormy the 3, not too far away according to Timeform US. I do wonder how they're going to play it with Zenobia, because this was a horse that has shown speed 2 starts back, I believe, in winning this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because she does have speed, and both of her wins are actually the 1 win and the 1 second place finish after they got her over here. She did show good speed in those races. She could certainly be a pace factor here, Dan. I just feel like it's a tough spot for her trying to decide what to do, whether to go or try to sit.
Well, the win was over this course and this distance. It was in the Athenia last fall. Let's start talking about Rushing Fall, a beacon of consistency throughout her career. You mentioned that she's been away. We have not seen her since October the 5th, when she was in a very good edition of the First Lady at Keeneland, a race that produced 3 next out winners, including Breeders' Cup Mile, Heroine, Uni. I thought she ran okay that day. She was sort of 3-4 wide turning into the stretch. She finished evenly. I don't think you judge her too much off of that race. Her prior performances make her very tough if Chad has her ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be too hard on her for the First Lady either. That's really, in my opinion anyway, of her 11 career starts, it's really the only time where I felt like she didn't really show up. She didn't run her race that day. Other than that, Dan, and listen, this is a filly who I've never really been a fan of. I've spent basically her entire career trying to beat her, and all she does is really win. She's really good. And you know what? I think she's going to make the lead in here. I think that makes her tough. And you don't have to really worry. As far as I'm concerned, you don't have to worry about Chad off of layoffs either. Each of the last 2 years, he's won this race with horses coming back off of layoffs, just like this one.
And Chad also has another layoff horse in the number 2, 55. As you see on the Timeform US pace projector, it could be tough sledding from a pace situation for 55. And she is taking a big step up in class. But Chad got her very good last year and managed this New York bred very well. Let's go back to the Ticonderoga handicap last October. I like the way she won this race. She's coming to the outside right now. She's attacking the leader. She finishes it off in very professional fashion. She is going to have to really improve to beat the top 2, and she might have to overcome a pace situation. But on her form, she reminds me of a horse that Chad had a couple of years ago named 4-Star Crook, where he kind of managed her in similar ways, found very nice spots for her, got her confidence level up, and then all of a sudden, the horse blossomed and became a legitimate graded stakes threat. In the Boston Spa, 3 starts back, she was beaten less than a length despite being pace compromised, and then she came back with those 2 wins against New York breds. I'm very interesting to see if this horse takes a step forward this year for Chad.
Yeah, we'll see what she can do. Listen, she's really good. She's won half of her career start. She's won $1 million as a New York bred. So far, the book on her, and they haven't tried it too often, but she's been just a couple of true graded stakes horses, and she's facing 2 legit grade 1 horses in here. I think that's a concern for her along with the pace, but overall, she's really good, and you can just expect her to show up every time.
Got Stormy beat Males in a major Grade 1 race at Saratoga, the 4-Star Dave, then second in the Breeders' Cup Mile, then the winner of the Grade 1 Matriarch. She didn't run very well in her seasonal debut, but back to form against the Males in the Kilroe last time. We'll take a look at that race. She got a really nice trip sitting up close to the pace. She turns into the stretch. She got the jump on River Boyne, who's going to come up in between horses and then up the rail to beat her. But all in all, this was a really good performance for Got Stormy, and I don't expect Got Stormy to let Rushing Fall get away too quickly and too fast on the lead. Got Stormy should be right on top of her. We could have a really nice match race turning into the lane.
She does have good tactical speed. You know, she is one of those horses, though, where I feel like when you watch her run, she's got one really quick burst in her. So I feel like Gaffaleon's going to have to really time it right here if he's going to come after Rushing Fall in the lead, especially, Dan, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I say especially at a mile and a 16th, because I feel like every step beyond a flat mile for Got Stormy is really pushing her limits. I like that she, you know, sort of rebounded last time in the Kill Road to run a good second, but at the end of the day, she had no excuse there, Dan. She ran well. But I think she has to run better than that here if her main rival is going to get loose on the lead.
Interesting fresh face is the number 4, Call Me Love, European Invader for Christophe Clement, adding Lasix. This horse was a multiple group stakes winner in Italy, showing a versatile running style. Last time out, she just went right to the front, and she took them every step of the way, but she has won from off the pace in the past. She does seem to like a lot of give in the ground, and there is in the forecast the possibility of late thunderstorms at Belmont Park this week. If there is some cut in the ground, you might want to move this European Invader up just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. That could certainly help her. That's true. It feels like she might need some help. I just wonder, Dan, if this is the right distance for her. It seems like a horse who might want to go a little longer than a mile. I wonder if, or a mile and a 16th, I wonder if Clement's just sort of jumping off where they're here and then looking for longer races down the road. But there's no knocks on her last 2 races in Italy. She ran well on those 2 races.
A horse with a lot of upside potential is trained by Shug McGahee. That's the number 5 Passing Out, and Shug's horses generally get better as they get older and mature. Let's watch Passing Out's seasonal debut. This is down at Tampa Bay Downs. It's an optional claiming race. I don't think she beat a strong field, but she's already going to come from off the pace right now, and it was a very, very fast pace. She made a wide move, and this is a prolonged bid. I'm just not sure what she's beating. It's a big step up in class, but this was a big step in the right direction.
It was. I do feel like she has some potential, some upside for Shug. She's run some pretty good races, especially that race at Saratoga last August where she was just buried in traffic. I mean, all the way down to about the 16th pole before she got clear, and then she exploded once she found a seam. I think she's best from way off the pace. I don't see how that's going to really help her chances in this race, Dan. You know, I'll give her the credit she deserves for winning last time, but I wasn't blown away by that win.
And Zenobia for trainer Jonathan Thomas, she won the Grade 3 Athenia over course and distance 2 starts back with a very clever and forward ride by John Velazquez. And you're just supposed to draw a line through her most recent race, the Bessarabian, because it was a race over a synthetic surface, and that is not her game, especially sprinting. It is going to be interesting to see if Manny Franco gets aggressive with her. She likes to be somewhat close to the pace. The question is class. I'm not sure she fits with the Rushing Falls and Got Stormies of the world.
Yeah, has a lot to prove in this race. And again, I just feel like she might be in the toughest spot of anyone with, you know, Franco trying to decide what to do with her. Does he go early? Does he try and sit off the pace and then try and run down 2 really good horses late? I just think it's a tough situation for her.
We'll take a look at our top picks. We'll see what we get off the layoff for Rushing Fall. We'll see what we get with Got Stormy as she stretches out past a mile. You like Rushing Fall in here? I would just send her.
I would too. I feel like that's what Castellano has to do. And listen, this is probably the first time in her entire career that I've ever picked her on top. So maybe that's just sign enough that you can go against her in this race. But I just feel like she's going to make the lead in this spot. And I know I trust Chad to have her ready off the bench.
I'm just taking a stab with 55. I'm a fan of hers. I think the mile and a 16th works to her advantage. And again, she just reminds me of that 4-star Crook look where she was managed very, very smartly. They put her in races where she could win and get her confidence up, and now they're putting her in against the gradeds. Maybe she'll take a step forward. She's going to have to beat these 2 big ones. Mike's going 1-3-2-4. I'm going 2-4-3-1. It's the Grade 3 Beaugay. It's opening day at beautiful Belmont Park, and it has an approximate post time of 5:36 Eastern. Best of luck.